Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, hanap ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay.
Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting.
Sa manlulupi, di ka masisingil.
Sa dagat ang tulong, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw. May dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal.
Ang iskap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning.
Ang bituin at araw na kailan pa
May di magdidiin.
mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
O God, the creator of the heavens and the universe, you are worthy of our praises. In you alone we pray and submit ourselves, for we are nothing without you. We humbly ask for your forgiveness and mercy. Dear Lord, we gather here today with the intent of doing good in thy name. Guide us to the right path. May our efforts be blessed with insight, understanding, wisdom, and respect for all. May our deep faith in you give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our dear teachers from the NCR and Region 11. And of course, we would like to thank NCR and Region 11 and their respective divisions for organizing this activity, an orientation for teachers on the learning systems reform policies. Just for the information of everyone, last week, we oriented the Region 11 school heads. And then last Monday, through a hybrid mode, we also oriented the school heads from the National Capital Region. Okay, so I know that we have a number of viewing stations right now. So we are encouraging our participants from NCR and Region 11 to kindly send your photos in your respective, from your respective viewing stations to our Viber community. Okay? So once again, I am here for our orientation for teachers, and I am Rosalie Bongon from the Bureau of Learning Delivery. I am joined by my co-facilitators, Director Maggie of BCD, and of course, Sir Denmark of PLD. Director Maggie and Sir Den, please say hi to our participants.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, Ma'am Rosalie. Good morning, Sir Denmark. Good morning to our teachers.
Thank you, Ma'am
Good
Rosalie. Good morning to our NCR and Region 11 teachers. Welcome to our orientation for today.
Okay, thank you, Director Maggie and Sir Den. But before we begin, we would like to be very clear about one thing, okay? Our dear teachers, please bear in mind that this is not another compliance session, okay? Hindi po ito dagdag training na kailangan ninyong tapusin. This is an opportunity for everyone to understand how our system is changing. And more importantly, how we make it work in our respective schools. Dahil sa totoo lang po, the field does not experience policies one by one. Okay? We know that we experience the system as a whole. So sa ngayon po, ang tanong po natin ay hindi lamang kung ano ang laman ng bawat policy. Ang invitation po namin is for you to go beyond that question. Siguro yung tanong, paano natin pagdudugtong-dugtungin ang mga policies na ito sa level ng school? Okay? And of course, we also want to reframe our role in the central office. Hindi lang po kami gumagawa ng mga policies at nag-check ng compliance. Our role is to be able to design systems and enable coherence. And of course, support you in making that system work in real conditions. Okay? So at this point, I would like to show you our agenda and program flow. Okay. So we will have 3 synchronous sessions. So that's from 9 to 10. We're already starting. And then that will be followed by self-facilitated activities. And then at 11:30 to 12:30, that's another synchronous session. And then another self-facilitated activities. You do that while you take your lunch break. That's from 12:30 to 3 p.m. And then we will have the last synchronous session from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, so that's our agenda for today. Now, just for check-in, fellow teachers, no, I'd like to ask, sa dami ng mga pagbabago, alin ang nararamdaman ano ang mga nararamdaman natin sa ngayon? Okay? We're showing you here a Mentimeter, no? This is just for check-in. We have a Mentimeter here. Meron kaming naka-show sa screen na QR code. May I request that you scan this QR code, or you can just log into menti.com and then key in the code 86242655. It's now being shown on screen. So, ang question natin dyan, how are we feeling today? Meron tayong A to F choices dyan, no? These are different emojis representing different emotions. Okay, ang dami na, may mga nag-respond na, very good. Okay, so it seems na may mga variation talaga sa ating feelings right now about the policies perhaps, or about you attending this training or this orientation. Okay, napakarami doon sa wondering. Okay, you're curious. That means you're curious about the policies. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Napakarami nang nag-respond. 8,000 of 12,000 teachers, 9,000. Thank you very much for your very active participation. 5,000 talaga ang they're still wondering. Okay? So meron namang overwhelmed. May sad. Okay. Actually, sa totoo lang, fellow teachers, okay lang naman yan. All your responses are valid. At this point, normal lang naman yan na medyo nalilito tayo. Some of us are overwhelmed with these changes. And that's exactly why we are here, okay? To bring clarity and not add to the confusion, okay? So thank you very much. 12K of 15K have responded. Meron ako mga pangalawang question, no? What brings you here today? Aba, ang bilis ng mga responses. They're all coming in. Very good. Marami nag-respond to learn. Okay? Meron naman, madami din. 300, 453, 480 to feel connected. Very good. That's what we need right now, to feel connected with all these changes. To feel a requirement, 697, to air concerns, of course, to share, to solve problems, okay, 358, pero pinakamarami talaga 4,000 o 5,000, and it's still increasing. Exponentially increasing yung to learn. So thank you so much. Apparently, marami talaga yung gustong matuto. Okay? And that's really what we want to happen in this day's orientation. So thank you so much for this overwhelming responses. They're still coming in. Maraming salamat. Thank you, dear teachers. Okay. So, thank you so much for your active participation. Marami pa tayong ganyan as we go along in this orientation. Thank you so much. Okay? But before we proceed to the meat of this orientation, we would like to acknowledge first and welcome the officer in charge of the learning systems, okay? The Assistant Secretary, Carmela C. Oracion, she will give us the opening remarks, after which we will directly proceed with the big picture view of the reforms through the Director of the Bureau of Curriculum Development, Director Maggie. So here's ASEC Oracion for the opening remarks.
Magandang Miyerkules po sa ating mga DepEd officials na naririto, pinangungunahan ng ating regional directors at ng kani-kanilang mga team. Magandang araw po sa lahat ng ating mga guro mula sa NCR at Region 11 na naririto ngayong umaga. Siguro kung tatanungin ko po kung ilan sa atin ang pagod, may mga magtataas ng kamay. Ganun po siguro talaga ang buhay guro. Sana po, kung tatanungin ko naman kung ilan sa atin ang energized, ang ganado para sa parating na school year, mayroon ding mga magtataas ng kamay. Sana po, mayroon pa ring sigla mula sa ating 1-month break. Ganun po siguro talaga ang buhay guro. Napapagod tayo pero lagi po tayong ganado na humarap sa isang bagong school year, sa isang bagong set ng mga mag-aaral. Mahalaga po ang ating activity ngayon. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo. Salamat po sa tiwala, sa paanyaya namin na inaya namin kayo sa isang makabuluhang sesyon kung saan may matututunan kayo, kung saan kayo ay matutulungan sa paghahanda sa bagong school year at hindi masasayang ang oras ninyo. We begin by being direct and frank in a most sincere way. Alam naman natin na hindi madaling makatanggap ng kahit anong policy mula sa central office. Minsan, yung una pong reaction natin ay, ano na naman ito? Dagdag trabaho, puwersadong adjustment, nakakataranta, o nakakabaliw na kalituhan. Please know that we understand such reactions and sentiments. Naiintindihan po namin. We really fully understand. Over the past few years, schools and teachers have already carried so much just to keep on teaching and to keep learning going. So we, from the DepEd Central Office, will not begin by claiming that what we are embarking on is easy or will be easy. We want to begin by acknowledging that what many of us feel, fatigue, doubt, and the very real weight of the system we carry on our shoulders. Lalong-lalo na po kayong mga guro, you who are closest to the ground, you who are closest to the learners we are seeking to serve. This is why we are moving forward with reforms, specifically those that will be discussed today. The set of reforms have been designed to be holistic, and hopefully this will really effectively address all the inefficiencies and the challenges we experience in our system, the challenges and inefficiencies that you, our school leaders and teachers, face in your respective stations every day. Today will be a long day, but we pray that it will also be a productive day, especially for you who will be closest to the implementation of the policies. We ask that you really concentrate on what we will discuss today, take down notes, ask questions, so that you will be able to implement the policies as best as possible. We wish you all a good and productive day. Muli po, magandang araw po sa lahat.
Alright. So maraming salamat po kay Yusek Mel para sa kanyang message ngayong umaga. Ako po ulit si Director Maggie from BCD. At ako po ang magbabahagi sa inyo ng big picture ng ating mga reforma ngayong umaga. So, allow us to first acknowledge, no, katulad nung sinabi po ni Asek Mel, no, na hindi po madali itong ginagawa natin. No? In fact, we want to open with a simple question. Hindi ko man kayo nakikita, maybe you can ask each other this question. Kamusta ba yung teaching ngayon? No? Kamusta ba maging guro ngayong panahon ngayon? With everything that's happening, with all the new expectations, new different learners, parang changing conditions in our schools, daming sabay-sabay na pagbabago, hindi lamang sa loob ng paaralan, pati sa labas, sa lipunan. Di po ba? Kakita nga namin kanina, marami sa atin parang naguguluhan o overwhelmed. At hindi nyo narinig namin sa maraming mga pagkakataon na nakausap po namin yung mga kasama natin na teachers at mga school heads, even field personnel sa DepEd. So, let's flash the next slide. At tanungin natin kung nakaka-relate dito ang ating mga co-teachers. Siyempre, hindi namin kayo nakikita right now, pero pwede niyong tingnan ng inyong mga kasama. No, parang meron ditong activity sa next slide. Just a quick pang pagising sa ating lahat. No, can you raise your hand if you can relate? Feeling mo ba, pag nagtuturo ka o bilang teacher, kulang parati sa oras? Feeling mo ba masyadong maraming ginagawa, hindi na pantay dun sa iyong energy at sa oras na meron ka? O kailangan mong mag-adjust parati? If you can relate to these sentiments, raise your hands. Tingnan nyo ang inyong mga katabi, malamang nakataas ang kamay nila. In fact, kahit kami din sa DepEd Central Office, we also feel this way. And what we want to highlight is that the reforms we're introducing today are pushed forward and exist because we feel this way. Para po solusyonan itong pakiramdam nating lahat na para bang pagod tayo. So bago tayo umusad dun sa ano ba talaga yung magbabago, dito po sa part ko, sa segment ko dito sa ating online orientation, I want to talk about the key principles that are driving this reform. So before going to what's changing, let's talk about what do we need to change. Yeah. So we already know that we are facing a learning crisis. No? Nitong mga nakaraang taon, talagang naging malinaw sa ating lahat with the results of the PISA, with the findings of the EDCOM, talagang naipakilala at napaalala sa ating lahat na meron tayong kinakaharap na krisis. And this is a learning crisis where many of our learners are struggling with reading, with comprehension, with higher order thinking, literacy, in many shapes and forms. And they aren't able to apply what they learn. hindi naman completely unable, no? Nakikita natin, syempre, marami tayong bright spots in the system, pero marami ring estudyante na nahihirapan pa rin. At the same time, tayo rin, no? Hindi lang naman yung mga bata yung kabahagi ng krisis. Ang ating mga guro, tayong mga guro, nahirapan din tayo dahil ang tindi ng overload, fragmented yung mga schedule natin, napakadaming kailangan i-comply. No? Alam natin yun na dami, fragmented ang mga programa, fragmented ang mga memo, fragmented ang mga reports. Kaya ang dami-dami nating ginagawa at kasama yun sa mga dahilan kung bakit nandito yung learning crisis. And so what we're saying is, if we keep on doing the same things, we will keep getting the same results. And so we cannot do business as usual. So kung pakiramdam niyo po, parang ang daming pagbabago at parang ang hirap, parang sabay-sabay, nanggagaling po kami sa paniniwala na kailangan na kasi, kailangan nating magbago kung paano natin ginagawa yung ating mga proseso sa department. Every system is perfectly designed to get the results it produces. It's a quote from W. Edward Deming, who is a business and management theorist. Ang sinasabi po sa atin ng quote na ito, kung ano yung sinet up natin dun sa sistema, yun po talaga yung makukuha natin. And so if we really want change, kung gusto natin na magbago yung mga resulta, gusto natin na walang mga batang naiiwan, yung mga guro hindi naman sobrang drained at pagod, no? At we already rediscover the joy of education. Dapat hindi lang tayo nakafocus sa magsikap tayo individually. Dapat babaguhin natin ang sistema. Pero hindi dapat nasa inyo ang lahat ng bigat, no? Hindi kayong teachers ang may kasalanan kung bakit learning crisis ang kinakaharap natin. This is an entire system that we have to revisit and that we have to fix. Dapat ang sistema ang sumusuporta sa ating lahat, lalo na sa inyo na mga guro na humaharap sa mga estudyante araw-araw. And so we do this because we cannot just simply blame individuals or people. We have to redesign the system. These reforms, while we're redesigning them, they are not separate changes. So it's better to look at them as one system, a whole system reform. These reforms put together, they strengthen our actions towards achieving the 5-point agenda in DepEd's Quality Basic Education Development Plan or the QBEDP. So pinagtitibay ng mga ito ang layuning palakasin ang foundation skills ng bawat Pilipino, foundational skills, at magpatuloy ang pagbigay ng suporta sa ating mga guro. So in the next slide, there's this very simple diagram that will help us visualize kung paano ba ito naging connected. So you see here, all of these reforms are part of one coherent system. The 3-term calendar aims to protect time and design with more intentionality so that we can really say that teaching and learning is our priority. Diba? Ang mga paaralan natin ay nandito, una sa lahat, para magbigay ng pagkakataon sa mga batang matuto. Alam natin, iba't iba yung mukha ng pagkatuto, pero if we don't protect instructional time and we keep on choosing distractions, talagang hindi magbabago yung sistema natin. And so that's what the 3-term calendar is for. Another key area of this reform is the development in lesson planning. And it's aimed to improve teaching design and lessen the workload of teachers by simplifying the processes and focusing on the key areas of thinking na kailangan nating baguhin, no? Yung planning, yung designing, and also focusing on better outcomes, which is better teaching, rather than the product. So ibig sabihin po, dati, minsan pag sinabi na lesson planning, nakatutok tayo dun sa form, dun sa mismong papel, kung ano man yung itsura ng lesson plan yun, no? Kung meron pa dyan, baka nagsusulat kamay pa ng lesson plan, o kaya naman kung ano yung format, ano yung template, minsan dun tayo nakatuon. But in this new lesson planning policy, we want to focus on the process. What kind of planning are you doing? How are you designing learning experiences? Yun po yung mga tanong na gusto nating tutukan. At gusto natin na may puwang tayo. Huwag tayong ma-distract sa form. Magpo-focus tayo dun sa proseso. And that is what the lesson planning policy will cover. Next, we also have reforms in classroom assessment. and the grading system and awards. And what we want to focus here is improving, getting better evidence for learning so that we can update our system in a more data-informed way. No? Ang classroom assessment at grading system, hindi tungkol sa anong template ng card, hindi tungkol sa anong template ng ating mga records, hindi tungkol sa sino ang honors, pero focus tayo sa ano bang sinasabi nitong data na meron tayo dun sa pagkatuto ng mga bata at paano nito tayo matutulungan para mas pagbutihin pa ang pagtuturo natin. We also have changes in senior high school and work immersion because we want to prepare our graduates better for higher education and for work or even for entrepreneurship. Yung iba't iba pa pong klase ng mga pathways na maaring kunin nila pagkatapos ng senior high school. We're also having a policy or redefining our policies for flexible learning plans or flexible learning program and education in emergencies because we want to ensure continuity and preparedness in all the different situations that our schools may encounter. Diba? Minsan po, maraming mga bagyo, maraming mga iba't ibang kalamidad, o kaya naman yung sitwasyon ng ating mga paaralan talagang hindi conducive for a fully face-to-face learning setup. So ito po yung gustong masolusyonan ng FLP at ng EIE. And all of these things work together. If one part is weak, the whole system is affected. But if they are coherent, and if all these policies work together, then we have hope that learning can improve. So what are the core ideas behind these reforms? So this is what we'll go through in each of the next few slides. Habang sinusulat namin ang mga policies na ito, meron kaming 5 prinsipyo na siyang gumabay kung bakit natin ito iginagawa. So we hope that as you read through the policies later, the policy briefers, as you go through this orientation, sana makita nyo rin po kung paano nilapat ang mga prinsipyong ito doon sa mga guidelines na ilalabas natin. Okay? These are all our connecting threads. So first, and perhaps most critically, our first principle is protecting instructional time for deeper learning. Gusto natin ng mas malinaw na schedule, bawas na interruptions. Gusto natin na maayos ang latag ng mga lessons at activities sa buong taon para maging mas malalim ang pagkatuto. We want to enable teachers to maximize being present and building relationships with learners. Kaya naman sa 3-term calendar, lesson lang kung panahon ng lesson at activities or remediation or professional development, meron din yung sariling takdang panahon. So we have a separate time that's just focused on instruction. And that's what we aim for in this reform. To protect instructional time, to prioritize relationship and interaction with learners, to fuel deep learning. Yung pangalawa pong prinsipyo, we want to have a shift from compliance to purposeful teaching. So sana po yung ating mga guro hindi lang nakafocus sa pagsunod sa format na parang medyo, para tayong robot. Kung ano nasa form, kung ano nasa template, ano nasa dapat order, ano yung pinababa sa atin na template, yun lang yung gagawin natin. Hindi po yun yung gusto natin. Ang aspiration natin tayong mga guro, magkaroon tayo ng puwang para buuin yung mga learning experiences na mararanasan ng ating mga estudyante. At doon tayo nakafocus sa pagde-design, sa purposeful teaching. Our reforms hope to ask less of teachers as document producers and more of teachers as designers. And so in turn, we want the system to be a support structure for good teaching. No? Hindi yung sistema hindi nandito para magbigay ng template, kundi para magbigay ng suporta kung paano gagawin yung mga proseso ng pagkaplano, ng pagdidisenyo, ng pagtuturo, ng pag-assess, at ng pag-rediscover din ng ano pa yung mga dapat nating paunlarin sa ating pagtuturo bilang mga guro. Pangatlo po, our third principle is to empower teachers and schools as designers. So kung kita niyo po, magkakakabit itong mga prinsipyong ito. We may have the same standards, but we should not implement one-size-fits-all models. So teachers and school heads are in the perfect and unique position to understand learners' context. Kaya naman po, gusto natin, meron kayong empowerment. No? Dahil mga teacher at mga school head ang may kakayahang mag-adapt para sa konteksto, sa inclusion at continuity. You know your respective stations best. No? Hindi po yan makakapture ng lahat ng mga polisiya. Kayo talaga ang may alam kung ano yung para sa inyo. After all, being educators does not simply mean possessing your little card after passing the let. Diba? Hindi naman yun ang hindi ka naging guro dahil nakapasa ka sa let. Diba? Guro ka dahil meron kang role na araw-araw na pinufulfill dun sa classroom, na kilalanin yung bawat isang estudyante. At kayo din, no, mga principal natin, baka nakikinig din kayo ngayon, di ba? Hindi naman natapos yun nung naging teacher kayo o nabigyan kayo ng appointment ninyo. Simula lang yun. Kung sa halip, no, araw-araw natin kinakaharap yung role na harapin yung mga bata at ibigay kung ano yung best version of education na pwede nating ibigay sa kanila. So school leaders and teachers, you are all designers. And you are all capable of devising different courses of action aimed at changing existing situations to better ones. Kayo po ang magpapaunlad ng mga communities natin sa schools. So kayo rin po ang dapat na na-empower. Fourth principle, at parati rin po namin iniisip ito, yung importance po ng formative evidence. So formative evidence at the center of teaching and learning. So hindi lang grading po yung focus natin. Yung mga grade po, mga ratings na binibigay natin sa mga bata, numbers lang yan, di ba? Letters lang yan. Sa totoo lang, di ba? Yung mga bata, hindi naman nila meaningfully discern ano ba pinagkaiba ng aking 85 sa 87, di ba? Ang pinakamahalaga po, mas mahalaga pa than what they get at the end of the term or at the end of the grading period is a sense of what they have learned, di ba? Yung higit na mahalaga pong makita yung tuloy-tuloy na pagsubaybay kung natuto ba yung mga bata, di ba? And so better planning, better assessment, and better pacing are not separate reforms. They are one feedback loop that informs teachers how to teach better. And sa mga school heads, kung nandito pa po kayo, also informing you how to better manage the resources of your schools. And that's why formative evidence is very important. And the fifth and final principle that we wish to highlight, no, at ramdam na ramdam po natin ito, our fifth principle is that well-being is part of learning quality. Hindi po afterthought ang wellness, no? Hindi lang basta masabi lang na may wellness program, na okay, merong paminsan wellness break. Pero sisikapin natin na sa mismong sistema, no, nakapaloob yung ating prioritize o pag-focus sa wellness ng bawat isa. Sabi nga, lagi itong sinasabi ni Yusek Mel, kasi usually siya po yung deliver nitong part na to. Sinasabi niya lagi, hindi natin sasagipin yung kabayo kung patay na. Diba? Kailangan sustainable yung ginagawa natin. Ang wellness ay kasama sa disenyo ng pagtuturo at ng pagkatuto. It's an integral part of learning. And so together, all these policies aim for a more humane systems for teachers, for learners, for families, so that it would protect the conditions for real learning to happen. In teaching and learning, wellness is crucially important because it fuels engagement, it deepens understanding, and sustains the desire to learn. Ang wellness ay pampasiklab. Ito ang susi para maging mas malalim at hindi mababaw ang ating desire na matuto. Di po ba lahat tayo, kahit tayo bilang mga guru na, alam natin na hindi tayo matututo kung hindi conducive yung ating situation. So, ganun din yung mga bata. Kaya yun po yung isang goal din ng DepEd. Lalo na po dito sa learning systems dyan, gawin nating mas makatao, mas inklusibo itong sistema na ginagawa natin. And so all these principles put together, they guide everything that we are doing. And we use them as connecting threads to all of the new DepEd orders and policies. No? So, kaya po namin to sinisimulan ng ganito, pinapaliwanag namin kung bakit. Kasi kapag po nag-implement na tayo nitong mga polisiya, syempre marami po kayong makikita na gray area dahil nga po kayo yung magko-contextualize sa inyong mga classroom, sa inyong mga paaralan. Pag po nandun kayo sa gray area, kung saan hindi kayo makapag-decide, gusto po namin balikan niyo po itong mga prinsipyo na to. Tingnan niyo po, pag magpipili na kayo kung ano yung gagawin, teka, alin ba dito yung best way to protect instructional time? kung pipili ako between two decisions kung paano kami magsischedule sa 3-term calendar, ano ba dito yung mas magpoprotekta sa well-being ng mga guro at ng mga bata? Pag nag-decide na kayo ng assignment ng mga teachers, pag nagpaplano na po kayo mamaya, no, pag ginagawa nyo na yung activities nyo, alin ba dito yung mag-empower sa aming lahat para maging evidence-driven yung pagkatuto ng mga bata? No? So, please keep these principles in mind. No? So at this point, let me pause and invite you. Hanap po kayo ng partner. Again, di ko po kayo directly nakikita, no? Pero I'm sure meron kayo dyang mga kasama from the division offices na nagmo-monitor sa inyo. Hanap naman po kayo ng partner. I will pause and invite you na pag-usapan niyo po ng inyong partner. Which of these principles do you feel is most important in your classroom right now? Okay? I will pause for a bit. Mag-konting think pair share tayo. Pwedeng kung may partner na kayo, think about it and then share to your partner. Tapos yung isang partner naman can share after the first one. Yeah, maybe I'll just pause for a bit kasi alam ko meron pa tayong next parts. So pwede rin niya ituloy po ninyo mamaya kung hindi niyo matapos with your partner itong pag-uusap na ito ngayon. Pwedeng mamaya, no, just take note of your question, of this question rather. At mamaya kapag break, balikan niyo yung partner niyo, pag-usapan niyo talaga, alin ba talaga yung pinaka-importante? Or kung hindi naman po kayo comfortable to turn to a partner or for some reason kayo po ay nanonood mag-isa, dahil hindi kayo nakapunta sa inyong viewing station, pwede rin po, just write it down. Dito sa mga principles na to, ano yung pinaka-importante para sa inyo? Okay? Lahat importante, pero ano yung pinaka-mahalaga at this point? Now, let's make this more concrete for our teachers. No? I will walk you through some of the key changes, no? Just to highlight what will change, what will stay the same, as we take a closer look at each of the new policies. So these policies aim for an effective teaching and learning environment for teachers, learners, and families. The policies cover structure and time, improving teaching methods, improving evidence and pathways, and ensuring continuity and access. These are envisioned to protect the conditions for real learning to happen. Again, di ba? Pinakamahalaga na tututo ang mga bata. So that's what you want to protect. Ang unang policy ay ang 3-term school calendar. So naka-release na po ang DepEd order ng 3-term school calendar. And essentially, what it does is restructuring the school year to protect instructional time. No, yun po yung pinakamahalagang pagbabago. Siyempre, isa pong ang paraan po na para ginawa kung paano yung ginawa, no, hinati po yung dating nahati sa 4 yung buong taon, ngayon sa 3 na lang. Pero ang mas integral po o mas critical pa, yun yung konsepto ng time blocking. No? So we protect instructional time, reduce fragmentation, and support deeper learning. So a 3-term or a 3-grading period structure decreases the 4 grading periods into 3 and then protects the instructional blocks and allots an end-of-term block for other equally important activities and purposes. So kung makikita niyo po dito na nandito na yung sample natin or yung actual natin na calendar for the next school year, at makikita niyo rin po ito sa ating DepEd order na naka-upload na po sa DepEd website. Meron tayong 3 terms. So June 8 to September 15, September 16 to December 18, January 4 to April 8. So ang siguro pinakaramdam po natin na pagkakaiba dito, di ba dati pag napuputol yung 3rd quarter, parang tinapos na natin yung lesson natin tapos pagbalik nila, nakalimutan na nila lahat kasi nagpasko sila nung December. So hindi na po yun mangyayari ngayon. No? At least, pagtapos natin ng December 18, tapos na yung term 2, pagbalik natin ng January, fresh start. Term 3 na tayo. So isa po yun sa mga mahalagang pagbabago sana na nakastructure ng mas maayos kung paano mangyayari yung pagkatuto. Mas malinaw din yung pagkakahati ng taon. No? I want to highlight po yung pinagkakaiba ng mga blocks. So, dito po makikita nyo, dun sa ating diagram, may yellow, yung ating opening block. Ang opening block po, nangyayari lang yan sa term 1. Tapos meron tayo yung green, yung ating instructional block. At then meron tayong end of term block. Ito po yung orange. So, may tamang panahon para sa lahat ng activities. No? So, opening block, mamaya po isa-isahin natin, merong mga specific activities po na nandyan. Yung kadalasan pong ginagawa din natin pag nagbukas yung klase, di po ba may mga assessment tayo, nag-aayos tayo ng records, nag-set up tayo ng routine sa klase, binibigyan natin yung mga bata ng instructions kung paano ba yung gagawin nila for each subject area, sino ang teacher, ano yung schedule. Dito po natin yan gagawin sa opening block. Meron po kami mga natanggap na feedback sa mga orientations, sa consultations na parang iksi naman po nung 4 to 5 days. Pero tandaan natin, teachers dati, di ba ang schedule natin parang ina-assume na diretso na tayo kaagad sa pagtuturo. So at least ngayon, meron tayong dedicated opening block. Wala pang klase, wala pang instruction. Gagawin lang natin lahat ng kailangan natin gawin para ma-set up natin yung klase natin for the year. Tapos saka tayo tatawid sa instructional block. At dito naman sa instructional block, susubukan natin ang lahat ng pwedeng gawin para protektahan yan at hindi ma-disrupt yung ating pagtuturo. At lahat po ng mga natitirang activities, extracurricular, yung additional remediation, yung mga wellness activities natin, dyan po natin naman iiwanan yon sa end of term block. So hindi ko na po iisa-isahin pero sa DepEd order makikita niyo po doon sa annex meron dong samples ng ano po yung mga pwedeng gawin sa bawat isang block. Okay? So kapag maayos ang latag ng school year, mas maliwanag at mas magaan ang pagtuturo kasi nakafocus na lang tayo doon. While these will stay the same, no? We'll still teach the same competencies. We will still assess learning. We will start and end the school year at the same time. Tapos April, Teachers Week pa rin. Parang parehas lang, di po ba? Wala masyadong pinagbago dun sa dati. Ang mga critical changes lang po, tatandaan natin, we have 3 grading periods instead of 4. We now have longer teaching blocks kasi parang tinabi na natin yung mga interruptions sa teaching. And then we have fewer interruptions during instruction. At least yun yung goal natin. So teachers will have more continuous time to teach, will have less rushing and less catching up. So alam ko po teachers sa unang taon, pag in-implement natin to, hindi agad na mapaperfect natin. Pag ginawa natin sa first round, sa first term, magkaka-confusion pa tayo. Pwede ba itong gawin? Ito ba talaga hindi na pwedeng gawin within the instructional block? Okay lang po yun dahil first run. Pero again, our principle, as much as possible, protect instructional time. Kung meron kayong activity na talagang inevitable, papatak siya sa instructional block, as much as possible, integrate nyo na lang po sa klase, di ba? Marami tayong strategies para gawin yan. Kung buwan ng wika, instead of a program for the entire school, pwede integrate sa Filipino, di ba? And other celebrations as such. Susunod po, and I will speed through this kasi medyo marami pa po akong kailangang i-share sa inyo. The next policy is on lesson planning and learning design. So, ito po, the goal is really to transform lesson planning from a compliance-driven task into a focused, flexible, and meaningful professional practice. So, sa lesson planning reform, ang layunin po, hindi dagdagan yung laman ng lesson plan format o gawin itong mas komplikado. Kabaliktaran po, no? Sabihin nyo, and I'm sure, alam ko po yung mga matagal na nagtuturo, inaabangan yung din naman itong policy na ito kasi ang tagal ng huli nating lesson planning policy. Pero ang gusto ko pong tandaan ninyo, dito sa bagong lesson planning policy, ang focus natin, again, hindi yung format. Meron po dito na prescribed na format, pero the goal is to simplify. It's really just have one lesson plan format for everything. So let's do away with magkaiba pa yung format ng DLP, ng DLL, tapos bawat isang subject, iba pa kung 5 E's, 3 A's, iba-ibang mga klase ng model, simplehan na lang po natin, no? Meron po ditong in-introduce sa DepEd order na ito, although hindi pa po siya nailabas, no? To simplify it, we're introducing a simple framework, yung ILAW, to focus on intention, on the learning experience, assessment, and ways forward. So dun po sa template na nakapalood sa DepEd order, makikita nyo naman po, meron pa din dong specific prompts. Pero yun na po yung 4 key features ng ating lesson plan. So basta malinaw ang intention, yun ang objectives, ang competency ka naka-anchor, malinaw kung ano yung learning experience, ano yung design ng learning na gusto nyo mangyari, at naka-anchor naman yun sa inyong intention. Basta malinaw ang assessment. Talagang yung assessment ay aligned sa objective, aligned sa learning experience, okay na po yun. And then finally, we have a ways forward portion na kung saan po mailalagay ng mga teachers yung kanilang mga reflection. So yun po yung isang highlight talaga nitong lesson plan. Babalikan ko rin itong second point po dito. It's guided by learning design principles. So in this policy, and later, I think in this session, meron ding mga discussion on this. Meron malinaw po na evidence-based principles na yun na lang yung focus sana natin. Alam ko po tayo sa education space, ang dami nating jargons, di ba? Dami nating framework, dami nating strategies. But we have identified, at least sa DepEd, 8 principles na dapat kaya nating i-implement sa ating mga classroom. And it's all there in the DepEd order. And you'll also see it later in your activity po sa inyong policy briefers. Sige po. Next slide. Again, ang goal natin just to highlight kung ano po yung magbabago. No? So what's new? There's just one simplified lesson plan format. No? Hindi magkaiba ang format ng teacher na matagal na at bago pa lang. Isang format lang tayong lahat. There's less emphasis on form. And there's more clarity and easier flow for our lessons. There's more flexibility to adjust to pedagogical models and strategies. Hindi prescribed. Kundi kayo bilang teacher, kung meron kayong particular pedagogical model na gustong i-implement sa klase, pwede nyo i-reflect yun sa lesson plan niyo. Our policy also provides guidance for AIU. So isa ito sa mga trend no, nakita ng sa Central Office po sa Bureau of Learning Delivery. Nagkaroon sila ng survey sa mga teachers. At nakita po, no, karamihan talaga ng AIUs na ginagawa ng mga guro natin sa paggawa ng lesson plan. At hindi po yun mali. Tama lang po yun. It's also consistent with our prevailing DepEd order on AIUs. As long as we are intentional, we cite when we use the AI, at tayo pa rin yung main designer talaga ng learning activity, pwede po tayong gumamit ng AI. Okay? Ganun din po, ano pang bago, we highlight the importance of instructional coaching. So, tulungan po natin yung isa't isa. No? Hindi po masama na magkakamukha ang lesson plan natin. In fact, kung parehas tayo ng grade level, parehas tayo ng subject, talaga po dapat magkamukha yung lesson plan natin. So we can share, we can collaborate, we can seek instructional coaching from each other. And then finally, yung sabi ko nga po kanina, we have core learning design principles and teaching strategies na yun po yung starting point natin. But what stays the same? Ano yung hindi magbabago? We still plan lessons. Meron pa rin naman pong lesson plan. No? Mas magaan lang yung ating template. And we'll still define the objectives, the activities, and the assessments. Pero less paperwork and hopefully less tedious yung pag-document ng ano yung plano po natin. Okay? In the next slide, thirdly, we'll briefly discuss the change in the assessment and grading system. So ang assessment and grading, again, hindi nakafocus sa score o grade lang, kundi kung paano ginagamit ang assessment para mapabuti ang pagtuturo. So assessment is now more explicitly formative with checks for understanding and feedback cycles embedded in teaching. Ang isa pong mahalagang reforma din dito, no? So KS1 or Key Stage 1, it's moving away from numerical towards more descriptive and evidence-focused grading. So makikita niyo po doon yung guide, no? Hindi na tayo number-based sa pagbibigay ng feedback sa mga bata, kundi mas descriptive na po. Pero sa mga mas matatandang learners na, no, sa key stages 2 to 4, magkakaroon pa din po tayo ng numerical grade. Pero we will transition away from transmutation tables. So eventually, yes, magiging zero-based na rin po tayo. Hindi na tayo magko-convert na a certain grade to 75 and so on. Diretso na lang po kung ano talaga yung grade nila. And in that way, magiging mas malinaw rin po yung feedback. Mas magiging balanse yung mga assessment natin. Next, we also want to show you, kakabit po nito, merong pagbabago din sa ating awards and recognition at nakatuon po ito sa positive reinforcement, academic excellence, leadership, and special recognition. So, pasensya na may typo yata dito sa ating slide. No? So, the second row is key stages 2 and 3. Hiwalay po yung senior high school, which is our key stage 4. So, makikita nyo rin po ito doon sa ating policy. no, na ito na lang, na-streamline natin yung mga awards na ibibigay natin. At siguro yung isang major change din dito, yung academic excellence, no, na ang cut-off na po niya ay 95. No? So below that, hindi na po sila makakuha ng academic excellence award. And this is something that we got also from the teachers and the school heads, no? Ito yung nakuha naming feedback na ito na yung fair cut-off given the way that we are grading now sa ating mga schools po. Okay. And so, in the next slide, just to highlight again what's new versus what stays the same. Siyempre, ano yung pinaka-importanting pagbabago? Again, descriptive grading in Key Stage 1. Transitioning out of the transmutation tables for Key Stages 2 to 4. A greater focus on formative assessment and updates to grading weights for performance tasks. No? And you'll see it later in the policy. Talagang mas malaki po yung bigat na ibibigay natin sa performance task dahil gusto natin na mas authentic na mga assessment. Okay? But what will stay the same? Siyempre, we will still assess our learners. Hindi dapat na mag-pass yung term na hindi tayo nakapag-assess ng tama sa ating mga estudyante. At meron pa rin tayong marks at the end of each term. Sabihin, may grades pa rin, may feedback pa rin sa mga bata, pero again, more importance or more focus on monitoring learning rather than just giving out grades. And then across our system, for our next, our next slide, we highlight po that learners do not experience school in the same way. So some are far from school, di po ba alam niyo yan, na marami kailangan pong maglakad, minsan sa mga alanganing kalye para makarating sa school. For our older students, some of them are working, some are facing health, family, or community challenges. And so, dati, meron po tayong tinatawag na alternative delivery modes. Kaya lang po naging fragmented na yung delivery ng ADMs. Kasi po, nagkalituhan na tayo. We use ADM for learners who are at risk of dropping out. Ito nga po yung mga may kinakaharap na kakaibang mga problema kaya hindi makapasok araw-araw. Tapos ADM na rin yung pinangtawag natin dun sa mga modalities na ginagamit natin kapag nagkaroon ng disruption sa klase. Halimbawa, bumagyo. Sabihin natin, ADM muna tayo ngayon kasi hindi tayo makakapunta sa school. So nagkalituhan na po, ano ba talaga yung purpose ng ADM? Kaya naman, dito po sa mga bago nating polisiya, i-retire na po natin yung ADM. Di na natin siya gagamitin. Paghihiwalayin po natin ang tinatawag natin na education in emergencies at yung flexible learning program. So para maging malinaw po kung ano talaga yung purpose nung binibigay natin na klase ng edukasyon, no? Sa next slide, nakafocus po tayo sa flexible learning program. So the flexible learning program ensures that every learner can access quality education regardless of their context, circumstances, or disruption. So dati po, iba-iba yung mga policies dyan. Ngayon, pinagsama-sama na siya, maglalabas tayo ng isang policy kung kanino ba nag-a-apply ang flexible learning program. Ang isa pong mahalagang elemento dito, no, ang flexible learning program, kailangan natin siyang paghandaan bilang school dahil ibang modality talaga siya. Ibig sabihin, hindi lahat ng mga school ay kakayaning mag-offer ng flexible learning program. Diba? Kung wala kayong modules, paano kayo mag-modular? Kung wala kayong internet, paano kayo mag-online distance learning? Di po ba? So, yung mga alternative learning modalities natin nakapaloob sa FLP, yan po ay merong application. Kailangan magpaalam kayo na meron kami mga estudyante na may kailangan nito. Kaya bigyan niyo po kami ng permiso na mag-offer nito. Ito po yung aming mga kakayahan. Kaya namin mag-offer ng ganito, ganyan. At ibig sabihin, nabibigay namin yung quality education through a flexible learning program. Okay? Ganun po yung FLP. Hindi lahat ay kailangan ng FLP. Pero po, sa kabilang banda, yung next slide, ito naman, yung education in emergencies. Ay, hindi pala dito naka-highlight. Sorry, wala pala siyang hiwalay na slide. Ayan. Meron pala, pero susunod pa. Pasensya na. Yung education in emergencies naman po, ito ginagamit natin kapag merong mga bagyo, may sakuna, may dahilan para ma-disrupt yung ating mga klase. So, ito naman pong education in emergencies in contrast doon sa FLP. Lahat tayo dapat kaya nating mag-education in emergencies. Wala naman sa ating di ba, storm-proof. Lahat tayo binabaha. So ibig sabihin, dapat lahat tayo equipped para gawin yung EIE. So again po, pagbabalik lang dun sa paglilinaw ng key concept, yung FLP para sa mga learners na merong kinakaharap na iba't ibang mga situations kaya hindi sila regularly makakarating sa klase natin. Yung EIE o Education in Emergencies, ito naman yung para dun sa mga pagkakataon na kailangang isuspinde ang regular class dahil sa mga sakuna. And so dapat lahat tayo ready mag-offer ng EIE. Okay po? So retired na ang ADM, EIE tayo at FLP. Balik lang tayo dun sa next slide, kasi nandun po yung summary kung ano yung nagbago at ano yung natitira pa rin. So what's new is that, dun sa FLP muna, balik tayo dun sa previous. May summary din dun. So again, wala na pong ADM. There's a clear system for support and monitoring of learners with different needs. And there are now structured options for alternative delivery and streamlined application and approval processes. Hindi na po tayo kanya-kanya. Nakalatag na po dito yung proseso. Pero what will stay the same for the flexible learning program? Siyempre, meron pa rin iba't ibang accommodations at components. Magkakaiba yung programa, depende dun sa pangangailangan ng mga paaralan natin. And the program still aim for the same competencies. Hindi po dahil flexible learning, flexible standards din, di ba? Pare-parehas po tayo ng curriculum. Pero magkakaiba tayo ng paraan kung paano ituturo o bibigay yung education sa ating mga estudyante. And they are still part of the formal education system. Hindi po, iba pang sistema, yun po sa ALS. Okay. Next slide, babalik po ako dun sa EIE. So, sige, dito na tayo. So, dito po sa EIE, meron tayong clear response levels na 4 po, Kasi dati nagkakalituhan tayo or minsan may pressure, di ba po? May pressure minsan sa mga superiors natin. Kung dapat tuloy pa rin yung klase para hindi mabawasan yung class days. O kaya naman minsan may pressure sa stakeholders, ay dapat wala ng pasok kasi bahana. So ngayon po, para malinaw yung pag-communicate kung ano talaga yung gagawin doon sa ating mga paaralan kapag nagkaroon po ng emergencies, merong 4 na malinaw na response levels at yung school head po ang responsible na mag-decide at mag-report kung ano yung appropriate na response level pagdating ng emergency. Meron po tayong hinto, ibig sabihin you stop all forms of learning. Merong hinay, ibig sabihin meron lang tayong structured distance learning experiences. Sorry, nag-skip ako. Meron ding hinga, yung check-ins or light distance learning. And then finally, merong hayo to continue. So ito po, it's a progression, You can see it from red to green. Depende kung gaano katindi po yung kailangang gawin ng inyong school. Kung kailangan nyo talagang ihinto dahil hindi nyo kayang ituloy yung instruction. Or kung pwede naman na hinga lang. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa heavy learning yung gagawin pero kakamustahin natin yung mga bata. Or hinay, pwede rin if you have na capacity for structured distance learning. And yung hayo, ibig sabihin pwedeng tuloy na. But although this is a continuum, we want to highlight, hindi naman po ibig sabihin kailangan na tig-isang araw yan o hinto tayo ngayon, bukas hinga, sa isang araw hinay. Iba-iba po. Pwedeng hinto kayo ngayon dahil kailangan talaga, tapos bukas ready na kayo na humayo. Pwede naman kahit na bumagyo, pero sa school nyo naman hindi binaha, pwede kayo humayo, hindi kayo kailangan huminto. So, the role of the school head is very important in determining and reporting this. But again, we focus on learner well-being, and we consider the student's emotional and physical state before pushing through with teaching content. At importante po dito, pre-planned yung ating continuity plans, di ba po? But what stays the same, syempre, ang suspension na mag-a-announce pa rin po niyan ay yung LGU. We still use alternative modalities. Kapag nandun tayo sa hinga, sa hinay, pwede pa rin natin gamitin yun. And then during suspensions, pwede pa rin tayong magkaroon nga ng organized learning. Yun nga yung sinasabi natin na hinay o hinga, halimbawa. Sige po. Next slide. Yan. So dito naman po, sa strengthened senior high school. Ito yung huling policy na ibibigay ko po dito sa overview. Overview pa lang po itong bahagi na to ng ating orientation. Essentially, we want to streamline senior high school into 2 tracks. Our academic track and the technical professional track. Because we want to simplify the system and make it more efficient. So, dati po, meron tayong mga strands, meron tayong iba't ibang form ng senior high school sa bawat strand. But by streamlining, hindi lang yung strands but also the subjects, we hope to enhance the clarity and efficiency. No? Yung unang principle for this reform. Pangalawa po na mahalaga din sa strengthened senior high school, we're expanding student choice because we want education to be more relevant for our students. Gusto natin na mag-continue sila. Di po ba? Ang dami rin ang dami nag-drop out pagdating ng senior high school dahil hindi na sila as interested in learning. So we want this to be a priority for this reform. Third, we also focus on enforcing the foundations. Ibig sabihin, talaga pong bago sila lumabas ng high school at pumunta sa college o pumunta sa trabaho, na-reinforce natin yung mga pinaka-critical nila na skills. And syempre, finally po, we want stackable and seamless learning pathways. Ibig sabihin po, kung ano yung nakuha sa senior high school, sana paglabas nila, mak-credit yon at magamit talaga nila. And so, what's new in senior high school? In the next slide, we're summarizing this. We have fewer core subjects, 5 na lang po kung dating 15. We now have clear tracks with clearer outcomes, so 2 na lang sila, academic and tech pro. Students can choose electives that would be aligned to their interests and goals dahil wala na pong strands. They can choose their own electives. There's a stronger link to real-world experiences with longer work immersion. And there's greater flexibility, and it's easier for students to shift pathways or explore options. But what stays the same? 2 taon pa rin po ang senior high school. No? Hindi po siya nabawasan, hindi rin po siya nadagdagan. And it's still required to graduate from basic education. Kailangan pa rin po matapos ang senior high school. Sige po. Next slide, we show you as an extension of this na pinahaba po natin yung work immersion. Again, dati po 80 hours to 320 hours. Ngayon we have 320 hours to 640 hours. That is for tech pro learners. We're also introducing field exposure and arts apprenticeship. Field exposure naman po, this is for academic learners for 80 hours lang po. Ito yung medyo kamukha nung luma nating work immersion. 80 hours, usually tinatapos ng schools in 2 weeks para sa academic learners. And then finally, we have arts apprenticeship, which is like a longer version of the field exposure. It's 160 hours, specifically for learners who have taken up the arts electives. And there are 2 modalities po for work immersion in particular. Pwedeng tapusin sa isang term, pwedeng tapusin sa 2 terms. Yun po yung importante na matandaan natin sa work immersion. Na pinapahaba natin yung oras para masiguro natin na talagang handa sila for real-world work experiences. And so what changed in work immersion and what's new, makita natin sa next slide. There's clearer pathways for experiential learning. We have longer hours for work immersion. We have field exposure na 80 hours. That's 80 hours lang po, ano? And then arts apprenticeship, that's 160 hours. They can be implemented in 1 term or 2 terms yung work immersion natin. And there's focused on applied competencies. But nevertheless, work immersion remains aligned with curriculum competencies, and teachers will still guide and mentor their learners throughout the work immersion and throughout the field exposure. Sige po. Finally, we want to close this by saying that and acknowledging ang haba na po nung session na to. When we view the different policies separately, they may feel like there are many different changes. But if you go back to our key principles, which we discussed earlier, and you look at all the policies together, what we want to put out is really a more aligned and coherent system that is focused on learning. No? Kita niyo po, sana naramdaman ninyo na lahat yung pinangako nating principle sa simula, sinubukan po talaga na ipasok doon sa mga polisiya natin. And this is not perfect. At alam ko po, amin ko na no, sa unang taon yan, lahat tayo hirap. No? This is not perfect. But we believe this is a step towards redefining our system. And we will do it together. Kapag iisang direksyon tayo, makikita natin ang pagbabago. At ang tunay na sukatan ng reforma ay hindi kung gaano kaganda ito sa papel, kundi paano ito nararamdaman sa classroom, sa guro, o ng mga guro at ng mga bata. So sama-sama po tayo, teachers, para sa isang sistemang makabago, isang direksyong malinaw, at para sa sama-sama at makabuluhang pagkatuto. So maraming salamat po, and I turn this over to Sir Denmark.
All right, thank you so much, Director Maggie Del Valle Ramoso of the Bureau of Curriculum Development, for a comprehensive and informative discussion on DepEd's reform policies. So dear teachers, what have we learned? Siyempre, marami, di ba? Because our content is dense. So we will give brain breaks throughout the day to help us recall and process the information. And this activity, we will call it Brain Dump. Okay? So ang activity po natin is entitled Brain Dump. So dear teachers, for this activity, kindly use the worksheet number 1 titled Brain Dump na sinend namin at na-print sa mga school nyo. Or you can also use your note-taking tool or app if you wish. And in 5 minutes, kindly write down everything that you can recall from the previous session. You can also use a sheet of paper. So dito po on the left side, kindly write quick notes or any significant details or striking information you have learned from the session. And on the right column, pwede po kayo to simply jot down questions that you might have or anything that needs clarification on the presentation. And kung yung questions po na yan, if these questions have been answered already through the presentations, through the succeeding presentations, pwede nyo na pong i-strike through yung mga questions na yon or i-highlight kapag nasagot ng mga ito sa discussion ng ating mga resource persons like si Director Maggie and Chief Rosalie later. Okay, so we will do this in 5 minutes. Time starts now. All right, time is up. Thank you so much, dear teachers from NCR and Region 11 for participating in this activity titled Brain Dump. So nakapag-note na po ba kayo? Kahit bullet points, okay lang yan. May questions po ba kayo in mind? Sana na-jot down nyo. I'm sure marami kayong naisulat sa inyong worksheet or papel. So once again, thank you. So let me zero in that these reforms are not about policies. They are about improving what happens in our classrooms every day. Now that we see the whole system, we will unpack what this means in practice through the succeeding sessions. At this point, I am turning over this virtual floor to Chief Rosalie Bongon to present the instructions for self-paced learning. Chief Rosalie, the virtual floor is now yours.
Thank you, Sir Dan. So, again, good morning, my dear teachers, fellow teachers. So we will proceed to our first self-facilitated activity, okay? We are going to show you on screen a QR code. Sa next slide natin, meron po tayong papakita dyan na QR code. Okay? Kindly show the QR code, please. Okay, so we have this QR code that will lead you to the link on the Guide to Reform Policies. Makikita nyo rin po dito yung teacher orientation package. Okay? So kindly scan the QR code, or kung nahihirapan po kayo na ma-access ang ating guide, meron din po tayo sa DepEd website. Okay? So you just have to go to the site, click programs, and then click guide to LS updates. Okay? So nandyan po yan sa ating website. You have two choices. It's either you scan the QR code given a while ago, or you go to the DepEd website. Okay. Now, having this teacher orientation package already, or the guide to the reform policies, what you are going to do is that you have to read, okay? Makikita nyo po dyan yung toolkit for teachers, yung budget of work, okay? And of course, the checklist. The checklist for teachers that will serve as the step-by-step guide, no? Para sa inyo, so that we will be sure that you will have a successful school year. Okay? So nandyan po lahat yan. Babasahin po natin yan. And then later on, sa next slide natin, okay, so nandun din po yung budget of work. Pero after reading, importante po na ma-accomplish natin itong first activity natin. This is entitled Starting Strong. Okay? Sa Starting Strong activity po natin, you are going to make sense of the policies that were discussed to you by Director Maggie a while back. Okay? And then you are going to translate them into action steps and probably reflections that will help you in having a successful start of the school year. Okay, so we recommend po that you do this individually and that you focus on your respective school context. Okay, so gagawin niyo po again, babasahin yung nandun sa link through the QR code or through the DepEd website. Kompleto po yun. Particularly the teacher orientation package, the toolkit, the budget of work, nandun din po yung mga briefers natin on the policies discussed. Okay? And then after reading, you work on your own, individual po. Okay? Meron tayong starting strong activity. Okay? I know you have your paper with you sa kanya-kanyang viewing stations. Meron kayong papel at ballpen dyan. You may download this one or you may just copy this, write, scribble in your respective paper. So, nakalagay dito yung ating link. Okay? At nandito rin yung for the reading and nandito rin yung link natin for the activity. Okay? So, we are giving you ample time to do this. we want you please to come back at 11:30 because we are going to resume our broadcast. Okay? So siguro dapat 11:25 tapos nyo na po yung starting strong. At definitely, syempre, dapat tapos nyo na rin yung pagbasahin, yung toolkit, yung budget of work that concerns your grade level and learning area, and the checklist for teachers. Kasi lahat yon pwede nyo magamit dito sa activity on starting strong. Okay? So you come back at 11:25 because we are going to resume our broadcast at 11:30 a.m. We will proceed to our next session. Okay? So I hope it's clear, my fellow teachers. Clear na ba? Okay. Thank you so much. We will come back at 11:30.